With Cold War swiftly on its way, we all get to look back on some of our hardest challenges, best clips, and favorite moments of Call of Duty. And one thing on most people's minds right now is the next camo challenge. With that in mind, it's always nice to look back at some of the hardest challenges you've ever had to do in Call of Duty. Which is why here at COD Globe, we're going to be looking at the top 10 hardest camos to get in Call of Duty. At number 10, we have the Gold Crossbow from Modern Warfare 2019. This is the only specific weapon skin that we have on this list, mainly because the crossbow is so outmatched by every other weapon in the game. With Modern Warfare having a lot of problems with player balancing and weapon balancing, it's very difficult to use weapons like the crossbow. With the crossbow's astoundingly low bullet velocity, or arrow velocity I should say, the crossbow is completely overmatched by every other weapon in the game. With it easily being one of the worst weapons in the game, it's extremely difficult to get it to gold. Completing all of its individual camo challenges is very difficult, which is why it absolutely needs to be on this list. At number 9, we have the Diamond Camo from Black Ops 2. Being the first time we were ever introduced to a completionist camo, Diamond at the time was one of the hardest challenges that we were ever introduced to. The goal for Diamond was pretty simple actually. The goal of getting Diamond is to get every weapon in a certain weapon class gold. The only way to get an assault rifle Diamond is by getting every assault rifle to gold, meaning you couldn't get Diamond for one specific weapon. The only way to get it was by completing every single gun. This led to an amazing challenge, and at the time, it was pretty difficult, which is why it absolutely deserves to be on our list. At number 8, we have Black Ops 1 Gold Camo. Now, where other camos on this list lead to high numbers of headshots or completing specific challenges, Black Ops 1's gold camo worked completely different. The only way to get the gold camo was to get max prestige. Now, most COD players understand what this means, but if you don't, let me explain. Getting max prestige means that you have to go to the point where you can no longer level up. You have to get to the highest rank possible. The only way to do this is to constantly play, playing non-stop until you end up beating it. In most Call of Duties, this is very difficult, and for Black Ops 1, it's no different. Getting gold is a very impressive challenge, and if you had it, it showed that you were a very good player. Having gold meant that you had patience, skill, and a lot of time on your hands. And being how there's not a lot of Black Ops 1 players that had this camo, you were easily able to show the good players from the bad ones. On to number 7. The Regal Camo for shotguns from Modern Warfare Remastered. Now, with Modern Warfare Remastered bringing back a lot of nostalgia, it also brought back a lot of challenges, one of which being the Regal Camo for shotguns. Regal worked exactly like Diamond from Black Ops 2. You had to get gold for every weapon in a specific weapon class. Now, for other weapon classes in Modern Warfare Remastered, it was specifically difficult for the shotgun. Seeing how the shotguns were completely underpowered and were very hard to use up against other weapons in the game, shotguns were very difficult to get camos for. Especially since most of the camo challenges were headshots, where if you played Modern Warfare Remastered, getting headshots with a shotgun is no easy task. It would take a lot of time, a lot of skill, and a lot of patience, to be honest. Which is why the shotgun Regal camo took a long time and was very difficult. However, it is not the hardest camo to get in Modern Warfare Remastered, which is why we're moving on to number 6. At number 6, we have Exclusion Zone. Now, Exclusion Zone is the first completionist camo on our list. Now, I say that because the way to get Exclusion Zone is by getting gold for every weapon in the game. It's a very exclusive and very hard camo to get that takes a lot of time, patience, and overall skill. Where you not only have to deal with Regal for the shotguns, you also have to deal with Regal for the sniper rifles and the pistols and every other weapon class. Now, this means you have to be very accurate, you have to show a lot of variety with your skill, and you have to be very good at the game, to be honest. And of course, just like gold for Black Ops 1, there were not a lot of players that were able to get to this skin. In fact, there are still players today who are trying to get it. Moving on to number 5. At number 5, we have Chrome for World War II. The basic goal is to get gold for every weapon on the roster. Now, the reason that this camo is a lot harder to get than Modern Warfare Remastered's Exclusion Zone is because there are a lot more weapons in World War II. Getting gold for every single weapon in World War II is no easy task, and it's not something that can be done quickly. World War II takes a very long time to fully complete, and it takes a very long time to get all your camos for it. And it takes a long time to get Chrome. at least for most players. With a few more added on challenges and a lot more weapons to use, Chrome is easily a lot harder to get than Exclusion Zone, which is why it definitely deserves to be on this list just a little bit higher, which is why it's at our number 5 spot. At number 4, we have Dark Matter from Black Ops 3. With this being the first completionist camo we got our eyes on, it's also one of the hardest. With Black Ops 3 also having a diamond setting, a lot of players wound up just trying to get diamond for all their weapons. However, by doing so, they also unlocked Dark Matter, which blows diamond out of the water. It was the first camo that introduced people to grinding for camos. Seeing how it was a secret camo that only players that knew how to play the game very well knew about, it was very exciting to say the least. It added a new aspect to the game that new completionist players would have a lot of fun. But along with that, Black Ops 3 is very difficult and is honestly one of my least favorite Call of Duties. Simply because of how difficult it is and how hard the player base can be in this game, getting Dark Matter is impossible for some people. It's a very fun camo, it's a very nice camo. However, it's very difficult to get to. Which brings us on to number 3. Number 3, we have Black Sky from Infinite Warfare. Black Sky is one of the hardest camos to get, simply because, like in World War II, Infinite Warfare has a very large roster of weapons, including the separation of 2 main weapon classes, classics and non-classics. With non-classic weapons being weapons that were introduced in Infinite Warfare, and classic weapons being guns that have been introduced in past Call of Duties, you had to complete multiple camos for each weapon based on whether or not they were a classic or not. This introduced a lot of new challenges that took a very long time to complete. With a large amount of challenges and a large amount of different mechanics that had ended up changing throughout the game, it was very difficult to say the least. However, like Dark Matter, the payout was very much worth it, which is why Infinite Warfare absolutely deserves to be up on this list. At number 2, we have Dark Matter once again, but in Black Ops 4. Now, Dark Matter, when it was in Black Ops 4, was a very, very, very difficult challenge, and in most people's eyes, pretty much impossible. Dark Matter is one of the most difficult challenges added to Call of Duty. Seeing how Black Ops 4 had a very hard and unbalanced leveling system and a very unbalanced health system, a lot of people that completed this camo challenge were only able to complete it through hardcore. Black Ops 4 is a very difficult game, and with that, has a lot of difficult challenges, with Dark Matter being at the top of the list. And that leads us on to number 1. At number 1 for the hardest camo in Call of Duty to get, we have Damascus from 2019 Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Damascus is by far the hardest camo we've ever had to work for. Seeing how there are multiple challenges for every single weapon that go from kills to headshots to long shots to mounted kills, the list goes on. And seeing how there's so many new weapons that are very hard to use, there are a lot of factors that Damascus brings to the table. With things like skill-based matchmaking and an unbalanced player base, Damascus is one of the hardest camos to get simply because the game is hard itself. That, and with certain weapons being extremely more powerful than others, it's very difficult to compete with weapons that might not be on the more powerful side. Even most pro players say that Damascus is one of the hardest camos we've ever had to work for, which is why I believe that Damascus is the hardest camo we've ever had to earn in Call of Duty. Did you agree with our list? If so, leave it down in the comment section. And even if you didn't agree, leave it down in the comment section anyway, because we want to hear what you have to think. That's it for this episode of COD Globe, and we hope you all enjoyed it. And we cannot wait to see you in the next video.